First off, Carolina lost someone really special. I know Matt was asking me about it at our radio show, and I don't know how many times you can cry about someone who you didn't know as well as some of the other people in the room, but just a shout out, I said before the game, it's Jumpman, and it's the week that Eric Montross died. So we have to go out and play with a fighting spirit. And so I know how much he liked this team, and so I'm just really happy to give him a win tonight.
Questions?
Started out kind of rough. Talk about the first quarter, then how Deja and Alyssa kind of pulled you through the first half.
Yeah, I mean, Deja and Alyssa, that's a good way to start, right? I know that we played at UConn, and I know we were really undermanned, I get it, and they had to play 40 minutes, I get it. They also didn't play well enough for us to win that game. And so it was real talk about how our best players have to play really well. And that's exactly what they did. Alyssa played really, really well on both ends. And clearly, I mean, Deja was throwing up at media timeouts, and she's throwing up now. And so what she was able to do tonight with really, really sick was pretty remarkable. So a lot of credit to them. It didn't start well. I'm choosing to ignore that part of it and recognize that they scored 23 points in the first quarter and they scored, I think, 29 the whole rest of the way. Let's focus on those three.
So was Deja sick all day?
Oh, she's been sick I haven't seen her since, 2-3 days, I think. How long has she been not with us? About 3 days.
Is this her Michael Jordan game?
This is her Michael Jordan game, yeah. Yeah, I asked her yesterday. She came down separately because we didn't know if she was going to make it, and she said, Coach, I'm playing. That's Deja. She's tough. She and this senior class, what Allie Z did tonight was so much foul trouble for our bigs. This senior class they're starting to really step into their role.
Alyssa, you guys were down 7 at one point in that first half, tied it before halftime, and then kind of went on a run to start the third quarter. From your perspective, what was that turning point and what kind of got you guys back on track?
I think the turning point was just reminding each other what our scout is about and just locking into personnel, communicating on offense and defense, and just getting the looks that we want and just buying into that through the adversity that we started to face as the game started. And so again, just staying the course, and that's what got us through.
And then obviously, Courtney was just talking about Deja's performance from your perspective with kind of how she was battling the sickness. How do you think, or what did you kind of make of the way she played?
Deja is a dog, and that girl will do anything for her teammates, and she knows how much she brings to our team. And so being sick, and she's pretty sick, and so for her to come out here and to play so selflessly and to even get to the basket and just hold up her own was remarkable, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm just really happy that she's on my team.
You had a game.
Third row.
That's okay. I was going to ask you about Z.
Yeah.
I went to her for long stretches in the second quarter and the third quarter, really the turning points in the game for y'all.
For sure.
What was she bringing that you weren't getting maybe from some other folks?
Z's got one of the hardest jobs on the team, and that is to be ready if we need you, right? Be ready when you need you. That's such a sports story and a cliche to say, I know, but you should be. It's really hard, right? She's been here 4 years, and I'm telling you, that kid's ready every game. She knows the scout up and down. She takes great pride in being accountable to what if we might need her, and that's what she did. She went in and we said we want the wrong guys to take we want the right guys to take the wrong shots, right? And she totally locked into that. And then we wanted her to wall up when they were in the perimeter. We wanted her to dig when they tried to post up Alyssa. She did that every time, every possession, right? And then offensively, she knows exactly what we're trying to do. She's just totally locked in. So she deserves it. She got literally a standing ovation from her teammates. And it's one of the feel-good moments of the season for sure.
Program.
You kind of had a similar game when you were sick and played well, but you weren't nearly this sick, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
She was on an IV that morning.
You were on the IV.
So I mean, they're pretty. Pick your poison, really. But
have you ever played a game this late, even in AAU?
no, never. And I think it's the coolest thing ever that we're playing on 2 days. That is incredible.
We played on 2 calendar days, guys.
How cool is that?
Cool is one way to say it.
From row to our left.
Yeah, Deja both scored, her 1,500 point for UNC and playing her 100th game. I mean, this call,
Wow.
talk about what she's meant to this program and, meant to you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. The story of Deja is well told. It's just they leave out a lot of details, and that is how tough she is, how selfless she is, how committed she is, what a joy she is to coach. When she came here, I remember recruiting her, and it was like recruiting her. I sort of was like, gosh, this is where you need to be. I need you to, well, I'll figure it out. We will figure out how to be good here. And that's asking an 18-year-old a lot, right? But they found a way, right? And they trusted me. And then more important than that is not only do they trust me, her actions meet her intentions. It's really hard for this age group. Her actions meet her intentions. If, I was in the gym with both of them this past week because I needed to put my arms on them and I needed to like get them to the next step, right? And these two they're a great representation of the university in terms of how you compete and how if you're going to wear a Carolina jersey, you're going to have a lot of people looking at you. And how you carry yourself and how you compete, it matters. So she's been just a real joy. And, she's got a hugely bright future because she's taken advantage of the many resources at Carolina as well.
Alyssa, you and Deja came in at the same time. Kind of how has y'all relationship evolved since, day one?
Yeah, just being a teammate to Deja has been an incredible experience because she's someone that I can trust and that will hold me accountable and vice versa. And so having someone like that you get to work hard with every single day and you get to perform on the court with, there's just like an understanding where if she looks at me, I can already understand what she's telling me to do or what look to look for. So just having that type of chemistry is like unmatched to have on a team. So I'm just very grateful for her, and she's a great example that I try to follow too because of her gratitude. And
But I think one of the things that Liz is leaving out too, though, is that I think she spent the first beginning of her career thinking it was kind of Deja's team, and Deja's our leader and all that. And I think Deja's really made sure Alyssa knows, like, this success is in large part because of you, right? And so I think your growth, Alyssa, is realizing that this is also your team, right? And you're seeing that from Alyssa, much more vocal and incredibly coachable. And so that's what's been fun, is to watch them really bring each other along. I think Deja's showing her that this is, you're equal in what we're doing. I think at times that wasn't
thanks, Coach.
From that.
Coach, y'all held scoreless Oklahoma for over 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And you also held them to under 4% shooting from 3.
I'm not feeling bad for anyone's bad 3-point shooting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a team defensively, how
Yeah.
do you do that? I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
I mean, I feel like you're kind of walking me into saying mean things, and I don't want to do that. But you want the right guys to take the wrong shots, right? And so, you make guys look really open that are shot willing, so that they might shoot it, and that's what they kept doing, which was amazing. And then we also, therefore, we didn't want their shooters to get open looks, right? And so I think we just really keyed into how we were playing the math on that. Also, their transition game is really deadly, and we completely, when you see the ball go in the basket, it makes your shooting easier. So we locked down their transition. They scored 9 transition points in the second half. This is a team that scores almost 40% of their offense in transition. So, I think we didn't want them to see the ball go in the basket ever, and not see it go in and then feel good about themselves. We want the wrong guys to shoot them into the game.
Right in front of us.
What's your overall feeling coming into the ACC of this team? Obviously, there's been some rough patches.
Yeah.
And you dealt with injuries and continue to do so.
Yeah, we're going to get healthy. That's going to happen. We're going to find a way over the break to everyone get healthy. But I told those guys in there that go away, we need a break from each other. We've been going pretty hard since June. But then we can't forget the lessons that we've learned, right? We've learned a lot already in this season. And some of those lessons are really public, and some of those lessons are in honest conversations that we've had intimately together, right? And so there's been a lot of growth. And, I think this group, they lean in. They've leaned in when it hasn't been easy, individually and collectively. So we've learned a lot. We know our league's tough. Everyone else practices too, and recruits too, and competes too. But no one's going to take the work or lessons from you. So we've got to use those to our advantage.
Last question.
We're kind of going off of that.
Gotta help my girl out in the
Yeah,
middle
going
too.
off of that, you mentioned obviously, wanting to get healthier and things like that. But what exactly, I guess, are the next, week and a half gonna kind of look like? I know there's obviously the holiday in between, so what are the next few weeks gonna look like?
Yeah, so we'll be off until they're not off, and then but they'll do some body bands and some things with their remotely, so that they can keep a status quo in terms of their conditioning and their bodies, mobility. And then when we get back, we know we start to get into the rhythm of ACC play. A lot of prep. Thank God we have some boys that are local that are on our scrimmage squad that will help us. But as you saw tonight with the way in which we locked in, these guys they understand how important it is to pay attention, to let me do my job and then they do theirs. And I think we're entering that time of the season where they just got to lock into that.
Like I said, last question.
This will be a later one. This is the latest that you guys will have by actually took off 2 full hours. What did you do all day? Like, how do you?
That is a great question, because when I got the itinerary, it said the bus leaves at 8, I was like, the bus is leaving at 8. Like, I put my kids down at 8. Like, that's a really important hour for me. And so, I don't even want to know what y'all did. I mean, I did what uninteresting people do, which is a lot of film. But, yeah, it was crazy.
It was a long day, but I mean, everybody, especially with no school, you don't really have any homework to do and no studying. So a lot of us just hung out with each other and had a good time. Took lots of naps to kind of, not necessarily because we needed the nap, but because we wanted the time to pass by and we're getting nervous. Like, okay, I'll just take another nap. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks to the Jumpman for having us. Obviously, didn't pull our side of the bargain up last year, but we made it right this year.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.